Hello and welcome to the What the Fork Monarchs preview show. Myself, Graham Munsey, joined by Dave Harley as we look ahead to a big weekend of Scottish Speedway. Dave, it's Derby time.
Yeah, it's the one where everybody looks at in the calendar when you get the fixtures at the start of the season. When do the two teams face up against each other? And it's probably been enhanced this season with both teams really flying high in the league with getting lots of points, and it's going to be looking like both are got a real good chance of the playoffs, so a real chance for either team to put a marker down at this stage of the season.
Yep, as you say, we record this on a Tuesday night. Glasgow, I think, could be back top of the league depending on the result at Plymouth tonight. How that goes, but I don't know. I don't even know how it started. But depending on how that goes, it could be top of the table, Glasgow, that come visiting. But for me, I've spoke about it before. The table I always look at is the home points lost versus away points gained, or the other way around. And as it stands, I'm pretty sure, regardless of results, it'll be the top two in the league so far, going head to head this weekend. Big weekend, of course, as we mentioned, Dave. A lot of Armadale experience in that Glasgow team that are heading along the M8. Obviously, Craig Cook, Justin Sedgman, Ricky Wells, 3 ex-Monarchs, Ulrich Ostergaard and Brock Nickel, both with previous high scores. And then Sam Jensen, who's been kind of pulling up trees everywhere he's went so far. So, we spoke about it when the Leicester came, we spoke about when our teams came, but as the season rumbles on, this is the Monarchs' biggest test to date at Armadale.
Definitely, and they are, as you say, the table doesn't quite tell the whole truth in a minute, but they are going to be a team that's up there. They are one of the top guys, and at Armadale, as you say, they've got a lot of experts, and even Ulrich Ostergaard, he's probably the man that cost us our only defeat this season with his fantastic performance down at Scunthorpe against us as a guest. So it's going to be a tough meeting, and we have had our challenges at Armadale this season, and Friday just passes the first time we've really put our foot down and dominated a home match the way you would expect the Monarchs to do. So with Sam and Josh flying as they are at the minute, and Richie hopefully back to full fitness and raring to go, we'll need these 3 guys at top of the game. In fact, we'll need all 7 at the top of the game, because as you say, all the way through that Glasgow team is riders capable of scoring points.
Yep, and as you say, I've kind of touched on it there with Richie. A few question marks as we record this, just about the exact makeup of the Monarchs team. The latest update as we had before we started recording is that Nathan is still feeling second hand, but is hoping to give it a go. We'll find out more as the week goes on. I believe Joe is still waiting on some PCR test results to confirm what Joe's status will be. And Richie, of course, missed that meeting for Bellevue on Monday, but is hopeful of taking his place. One thing we do know about the Monarchs team, though, Dave, is that his short spell at reserve is now over. The way the averages work, obviously, you get a new average 7 days after your 4th home or 4th away meeting. Once you get to 4 and 4, as convoluted as that sounds. And Kai achieved that. I think the meeting at Berwick was his 4th away meeting, means he now had the 4 and 4, so 7 days later. So as of Saturday, his average, and he actually jumps up into 4th in the averages. So out of reserve, William Lawson goes down, but also probably makes it key that Nathan is fit to return, because if it is ready a replacement for Nathan, then we won't have that Josh Pickering cover ride in there.
Yeah, as you say, I think he's up to 4.57 for Kai, which is a great start to the season for a newcomer, but huge in that position in the engine room with Nathan. As you say, we're all always optimistic about Willie, and we know that he's capable of scoring big points, but we can't afford anybody not being at their best on Friday, and whether, even if that is Nathan's rider replacement race, fingers crossed he is fit and ready to go, because he was coming into some better form before that knock last week, unfortunately. So fingers crossed Nathan's fit, and obviously Joe will be desperate to get back racing again after a lengthy absence with these COVID restrictions. So hopefully that'll be his hunger for it right up there if he is fit and involved.
Yeah, and then from Kai's point of view, though, I would like to think, and I don't think moving back into the main body of the team will actually phase him. He's got the experience there from earlier in the season, and it's one of those things everyone says about your points, scoring going up when you're at reserve. but you don't get 15 paid 17 by outbeating most. I mean, I think weirdly he didn't face Ben Barker. He was the only guy in the Newcastle team he didn't face on Friday. But even the Saturday before, I mean, I don't have the programme to hand, but I'm pretty sure he beat most off, if not all, of the sort of Berwick top guns as well. You know, you're not going to put on 12 points, 13 points, 15 points without beating pretty much everyone's there. So all he needs to do is carry on that form back into number 3 position.
Yeah, no, 100% with you there, Graham. It's just been solid. I think that's possibly a best way. You know, he has had a couple of passes as well, so it'd be harsh to say solid, but not spectacular. But given where he is, I think it's fantastic there. So with Josh flying at that number 4 position, you know, we're looking for him to pick up those third places, perhaps the odd second place, get us 5-1s, get us heat advantages. That's his job in that position, and then to win Heat 12. So when it's coming down to it, we are strong all the way through to the finish, because we know we finish matches strong, but we need to make sure we're not showing any weaknesses at all.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Josh for this week's programme, and he says he'll be delighted if he's got 6 + 3 bonus points from the 3 rides he has with Kai. And I'm sure we would all agree with that as a synopsis.
I'd snap the hand off for that right now. Yeah, it's clearly it's possible the way Kai's been going this season, but it won't be easy with like say Craig Cook and Ricky Wells in the opposition. But you know, Monday night for the Wolves, Sam got the better of Craig, so hopefully that continues on Friday. And obviously Josh is riding high at the moment, so fingers crossed that continues.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, they're probably, certainly in Sam's case, he must be the form rider in the country just now. Josh, one of the form riders in the championship, and that's probably going to be the key battles on Friday, isn't it? As we've seen in probably 90% of the occasions so far this season that Sam, Richie, and Josh have absolutely dominated the home meetings. I think there's been only one meeting for Josh, one meeting for Richie where they didn't get double figures. I think Sam's been into double figures in every match so far. Different kettle of fish though when it's Craig Cook and Ricky Wells at the other side of the starting tapes.
Yes, it'll be the hardest challenge for them, but we did say that when Leicester were there. Leicester have got some good solid guys at the top, but Cookie, obviously, I mean, Armadale's not been his home track for a good long time now, and he hasn't been the way he was when he raced for us. I think it's different when it's not your home track.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking for Sam and Richie to show it's our home track. Armadale's where we dominate and go and win all those races. I mean, it's the last 3 meetings. I think we've only not crossed the finish line first in about 3 races or something like that. So it's we talk about last places, but if you win every race, you can't lose the match. Looking at that from a slightly twisted perspective, but and we know the makeup of our team. We've got that strong top end. We're going to have our challenges in some of the races, and we need some of the Willie and Joe and the guys to step up. But if they're not, then hopefully we'll charge through at the end and make sure we grab those 3 points.
Yeah, and of course, Dave, the meeting probably comes at actually a good time, and we've seen confirmation come through this week of an increase allowance in a crowd. Obviously, I don't think we'll be up to as many as would normally be at a derby match yet, so I am still anticipating a sellout. And what I would say for anyone that's delighted that the restrictions are easing a little bit, it is still all ticket. That is one of the stipulations of these things being open. So I would recommend heavily, if you're watching this, getting online and booking your tickets if you haven't done so. The desk will be open for sort of tickets on the night. Obviously, those could be very limited. There's no guarantee of those. And also, obviously, if you go for that, you've got to queue to get your ticket, and then you've still got a queue for the general admittance. So my advice to anyone who's kind of on the air and thinking, I'm looking forward to getting back for the first time this season, I can now kind of go up and pay at the gate. That's not quite the case yet. It's an increased crowd were allowed, but it is still all tickets. So I would be getting my tickets now if I was sitting here without one.
Again, yes, can't agree more. It's a huge match. There'll be a lot of there'll be a lot of Glasgow fans who want to come through as well. So the demand for tickets will probably be the highest in the match this season. So it's, as you say, it's fallen really well for us that there is an increased capacity, because if it was the same capacity as last week, the sold out sign might be up already. So I recommend get your ticket in before that happens. And you don't want to be queuing on a Saturday night as we're heading towards Heat 1 of the most important match of the season so far.
Friday night, Dave. You're going 24 hours ahead of yourself. You miss one meeting and you forget Friday night Speedway night at Armadale.
Oh, dearie me. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I say, if you are going along, I'd get your tickets now. The forecast seems to be playing ball again. It could be another shorts night rather than jacket night, which I'm looking forward to. And get in, get early, get your spot. We know there'll be a large sort of red contingent, shall we call them, on the third bend. They always make themselves known, same as the Monarchs fans do at Ashfield. So get on, book your tickets now. If you can't make it along for any reason, the stream is still available. So edinburghmonarchs.co.uk tickets. If you're going for a ticket, edinburghmonarchs.co.uk, then the EMTV link to pick up that stream. Dave, we've touched on these fixtures, and there's going to be an increased crowd. It's the first derby experience for a few of the guys in our team, same with a few of the guys in the Glasgow team, and we're probably biased, and I'm sure the Glasgow fans are the same, but I've never seen another derby in British Speedway that rivals the Scottish derby, and that actually could be key as well. Fans G the riders up. You might not think they do, but when they're coming around, they can't hear you. They can't hear you shouting. They can hear you getting them up for the heat. And actually, part of the name of the game for this weekend could be, for the riders' point of view, just treating it like any other night. Still a job to be done. They don't want to be going out there and beating themselves by jumping a start and going through the tapes, or over trying and coming off. The form the Monarchs have shown at home so far has been improving week on week, and it's really about a case of going out and doing your own job and don't letting the occasion overtake you.
Definitely. I mean, it's a huge match this year, and it's a great opportunity to show who's the number one team right now. But there's no medals handed out in July. There's nothing will be conclusively decided this weekend. It is just those league points, 3 points on Friday, and hopefully somewhere up towards 4 points on Sunday. I'm sure there's plenty of guys in the pits who'll be making sure that the riders are aware it is a derby, and these are the bragging rights that the supporters are after. But it's no different to any other race. And any other meeting, 3 points for the win is still the way. So let's get the basics right. Then get yourself up for it, but not over the top, and go and do your job. That's what the rider message is for riders. Yeah,
exactly. Leave it up to the fans to get overexcited. I'm excited for it. You're excited for it. I can tell by some of the squeaking going on. One of your furry friends is definitely excited for it. Everyone's up. It's as I've said already, probably completely biased, but for me it is the biggest fixture in Championship Speedway, and certainly one of the biggest fixtures in British Speedway, if not the biggest fixture in British Speedway when it comes to the rivalry. And we flip it over to the Glasgow side, and they can travel with some confidence. As I say, we don't know. We record this kind of Tuesday evening, so we don't know the result from Plymouth. But so far, I think they are the +9 on the away points gained against home points dropped. They've not dropped anything at home, and I think they've got 9 away from home. I'm definitely not far away. So I'm pretty sure the Monarchs run 7, and Glasgow are above by a point or 2. So everywhere they've went, they've been competitive. If there's been one slight criticism, there's been a couple of late match collapses, though, and that's something the Tigers will be looking to snuff out.
Definitely, we all know they're desperate for silverware after the investments they've had, and they're really keen to go. And they've clearly built a team to try and win at Armadale as well, with the riders that they're signing as well. So it's going to be a different challenge from that perspective. I mean, most of their team will know what it's like to ride in a derby in a blue and gold. So we'll see what happens on Friday when they're in red and white. But hopefully some of them have forgotten the way around Armadale. But as you say, for Glasgow, it's all about them trying to real push on. They've been competitive everywhere. They're up there and about. So not quite got the victories they didn't quite make it, Eastbourne and a couple of other places, but they've certainly picked up enough points away from home to show that they're going to be there at the end of the season. And I say massive match for them as well as it is for us.
Yep, massive match for both sides, as you mentioned, Dave. And one man that's well aware of that is Glasgow team boss Cami Brown. And I caught up with him over the weekend to see his thoughts of the week ahead. We're joined now on the Monarchs preview show by Glasgow team boss Cami Brown. Cami, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
No worries. Thank you very much for asking.
Big weekend ahead for both teams, obviously. It's probably come at the right time. We're not through the woods yet, obviously, but we see some restrictions easing, meaning both teams can have a bit of a proper crowd at it. Both teams are in good form going into it, probably sitting kind of first and second on the league table that I look at. Because obviously matches, I always look at away points gained against home points dropped as a true barometer. And I think we're sitting first and second on that. And of course, having missed a year, we're now probably 20 months or so since the last derby. So I know everyone in the Edinburgh camp can't wait for this weekend. I'm sure it's exactly the same in the red and white camp as well.
Yeah, but building up to what will be a very exciting weekend ahead, Graham, as you say. I know the riders that our side of the fence are really looking forward to it. We've obviously got an away match on Tuesday at Plymouth to look after first, and that's at the moment that's our thoughts on that one. And as soon as that's over, come 9 o'clock on Tuesday night when we're starting to travel back for the match, our thoughts will turn to our first visit to Armadale for quite some time, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. I think we've got Edinburgh at their best moment so far this season. To be fair, you guys seem to have really hit a rich vein of form, and we need to be very conscious that we need to fight for every point at Armadale and at home on the Sunday after.
Yeah, and of course, it's the makeup of the Tigers team now. They travel everywhere with confidence, but certainly heading to Armadale, obviously 3 ex-Monarchs and Craig, Ricky and Justin, Ulrich and Brock Nicol both have got more than one double-digit score to their name around Armadale as well. So it must be a place that you're thinking to yourself, as everywhere, if things fall the right way, there's a result in this for the Tigers as well.
Yeah, Graham, I always think Edinburgh, no matter what team Edinburgh have at Armadale, have a formidable home track advantage, and your 3 top guys this season are starting to fly. So we're very conscious of that. That's if we're going to get anything from Armadale at all, we'll have to ride our absolute out of our skins to get something. We're fully aware of that, and I watch Edinburgh scores very closely, and you're gaining momentum. So we're also, our team's doing really well, and as you're right, away from home, we're pushing teams right to the very end. We've had a couple of disappointing endings to matches, but there's lots of teams go to Eastbourne and will get absolutely annihilated. I'm just happy our team with 1 or 2 races everywhere we go, we're still in with a chance of either winning the match or getting a point. And we certainly away from home are very, very competitive, and I hope that's the case come Friday night at Armadale.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there, if when you kind of look along the forums and social media, and of course I'm not going to have a knock at any fan that has an opinion, but some of these opinions could maybe do a wee tether, and you can always pick your phone up immediately and see what you feel. The only criticism of Glasgow's season has maybe been away from home. You mentioned there's been a couple of times where they've just not been able to close the job come the end of the match. And is there anything you could kind of put your finger on? After there's been a little bit of a break for the Tigers, has there been a wee bit of reassessment and can kind of see maybe what's causing that, or has it just been a case on the night conditions have changed, home riders have got dialed in towards the end, and it's just one of these things?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that, Graham. There's also the fact that the 3 away matches that we've lost, at the end of the matches, the home teams use their tactical substitute each time against us, which has made it difficult in Heat 14. You've got your reserve and you're not, your number 3 or number 4 going out against the 2 top guys from the home side, and that's happened a couple of times to us as well. We've never been in the position of using a tactical substitution at any point in the season, which is great, which is good. I mean, it means it's keeping us competitive, but when you're going away from home and you're getting your 2 best riders coming into Heat 14 against you most weeks, it does become difficult. Craig's had a couple of disappointing last Heat 15s for us as well. His form since then has come back to the Craig that we know, and I think you'll see a different Craig Cookies. He's a couple of disappointing Heat 15s, but to be perfectly fair, he's been he's been, you know, almost back to his normal self since then. So we've no fears with that. Yeah, listen, it's just one of those things. I think a wee bit of bad luck as well, Graham. But I'm just happy in a way that, obviously, I'm never happy losing. You know me, I'm Mr. Competitive, but I'm just happy that we've been competitive away from home in every fixture so far. And if we continue to do that to the end of the season, we'll be there or thereabouts when the playoffs come. And as you know, and Edinburgh are really in the mix for the playoffs as well. It's all about getting to the playoffs, and then you reset and you hit the zero button again, and you start from the beginning. And you know, if it's the top four or the top six, we're not quite sure yet at the moment what we've got to do. But if it's the top four and we're in there in fourth, I really don't care. As long as we're in the playoffs, that's the target. And it's, believe me, any of the teams at the top of the league just now, you know, you're looking at ourselves, Edinburgh, Leicester, Scunthorpe, they're all in the mix for, you know, Redcar as well. They're all in the mix for these top four places. There's you can't just turn around and say that's just the, you know, it'll be Edinburgh, Glasgow, Leicester, and whoever. Scunthorpe have been a surprise package so far as well. And you've got to respect that, and you've got to take them. People still look at them and say, "Oh well, you know, it's only Scunthorpe," but believe you me, that you've got to take them seriously. And it's what we said at the start of the interview, that there's no easy matches at all in Speedway anymore. All the teams are very, very close, and I think on any given day you can get any result, which is the way it should be. Let's be honest.
It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Cami Brown, thank you very much for joining us here on the Monarchs preview show.
Thanks, Graham. Thank you very much. Cheers now.
Cami Brown there, Dave. Maybe a little bit more reserved than usual. Cami's, he's always very informative and very chat, but in the past sometimes been a bit kind of rah-rah and a bit of a cheerleader, but maybe a bit more measured there and saying, he knows how well Edinburgh have been riding at Armadale. He says we are in the form of our season so far, which, looking at our previous sort of couple of weeks' results, you would have to agree with. But he's also confident in his own team's ability and knows the experience and what his team can do. And, he wouldn't be drawn on it too much, but everyone in Glasgow will be heading along the M8 on Friday, hoping for minimum a point, I would have thought.
Definitely. They're the same as us. They're I was going to say expecting, but that's maybe not the right phrase, but their minimum aim is points everywhere they go. They're really looking to do that. Would they be happy with 1 point at Armadale? I'm not sure, but the same again when we go to Ashfield on Sunday. I mean, it'll be a new experience for likes for Kai, etc. Yeah. So perhaps it might a win at Ashfield might be a stretch for us this weekend with that, but we're certainly capable of it. And Glasgow know with the riders they've got, if they perform to their best Armadale experience, we'll be doing well on Friday to win. I'm not quite convinced they're all at that level at the moment, so we should be more than good enough to see them off on Friday night. But it's going to be a tough match. And as you say, Cami's probably learning as he's going along, trying different approaches to master these matches. And fair play to them. They're trying hard to do a lot of good things through there, but we're still here to put a stop to them every now and then.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. It's, come the end of the weekend when we get to, I guess, roughly 5 o'clock on Sunday, 3 o'clock tapes up off the top of my head. I think it's 3 o'clock on Sunday, isn't it? So, yeah. We get to 5 o'clock on Sunday. Obviously, we've seen what have happened over 30 heats. But I think going into it, if any team was to come out it with 4 points, they wouldn't be too distraught.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. No matter how that comes as well, because as stranger things have happened, and Glasgow might get a result on Friday, and we go to Ashfield and return the favour. That's happened in the past. Yeah. But you're looking for that minimum. Get 3 points out of this tough weekend, minimum, and anything else is a bonus. And then move on to a busy couple of weeks coming up as well, to where we should have possibly more chances to get points.
Yeah, crunch time coming up, as you say, starting this weekend and busy after that. 2 huge fixtures, 7:30 at Armadale on Friday night. As we talk, tickets are still available, but as we said earlier, I would heavily recommend getting online and booking them as soon as you can. If you can't make it along, do pick up your stream. And then for those of the Monarchs persuasion want to make a travel through, when I spoke to Cami on Sunday, he wasn't sure on the restrictions at Ashfield. They were waiting on the rubber stamp during the week to increase their capacity. So again, if you were planning it, I would be getting my tickets sooner rather than later, and get set for what's due to be a huge weekend at Speedway. Biggest weekend of Scottish Speedway for nigh on 2 years, certainly, if not more so. As always, though, Dave, before we wrap up, we do dive into the history books, and I think we're going back to 2008 tonight, and a Heat 15 at Armadale. A lovely, I'm guessing it was a sunny summer's night. No, I looked down at my notes, it was the 31st of October, so everyone must have been sat in there, jackets on, beanies on, gloves on, but this action would have done the job. It's James Greaves versus Matthew Weathers and Andrew Tilley.
For James Greaves, on the inside it's McNeil, Weathers, Greaves and Tully. Didn't think that was a fair start, but the referees allowed it to go, and Greaves goes ahead from Weathers, who I think actually almost got to the corner ahead of him. Weathers is getting in his partner's way as Greaves races clear. Tully did a very fast time in his last one, but he can't get into a position to try and do any passing. Weathers is in fact putting in quite a good tussle here, and he's gone zipping past, has he? Incredible effort by Weathers, but Greaves has come back through again, and here's Tully, and now Tully's come racing through. Sensational stuff from Andrew Tully there. Greaves and Weathers battling for the second. Greaves quicker into the last turn, they might go across it. He has, and the Monarchs take a 5-1. What an extraordinary race. That was incredible, really. Absolutely incredible. And Monarchs could totally negate the tactical ride with a quite extraordinary effort, as both the Monarchs men came through for the 5-1.
Yeah, that was with no disrespect meant to, well, I'm not sure, because the graphics say Adam McKenna, but Mike says McNeil at the start, I guess it'd be Robbie. So I'm not sure who the fourth participant was, but there was no disrespect meant to whether it was Adam or Robbie, based on only mentioned other three riders, but that's kind of what we were watching a wee bit there. Some cracking racing, and fingers crossed for more of the same. 30 heats of that kind of action would do the job nicely this weekend, Dave.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we've seen some cracking racing so far this season, you know, with Josh on form, Nathan's capable of passing, Sam's been fantastic. We've had some brilliant races, and yeah, looking forward to Friday night. It's going to be a big opportunity for the Monarchs, and hopefully we'll get those 3 points on Friday and get us through to Ashfield on Sunday with a clean hit and a chance to pick up some more points.
Yeah, as I say, big weekend ahead, to and fro and looking fixtures. I'll repeat myself ad nauseum as I normally do. I think it's the third or fourth time. If you are planning on getting along, don't wait. Get your tickets now, and we'll see you there on Friday night. Of course, myself and Dave will be back on Saturday morning as we review all the action, with interviews from both camps and the best heat or the best action off the night. But until then, thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.
All right.